Avi Meyers, Northtown Neighborhood News Magazine, a presentation of Sonny Hirsch and myself. Dial us up on the web at ntnm.org, communitypolicingcaps24.org. It is a pleasure to reintroduce you to an author we've had on the show who has written some very interesting books. She refers to herself as a fiction writer and an essayist, and that is Charlene Wexler. How are you?
Avi, nice to see you again. Thank you for inviting me back.
My pleasure, thank you, and I want to thank Bill Bike, your publicist, and your husband Bill for bringing you here today. Did I get the name right?
Sam.
Sam, I'm sorry,
my
Sam.
husband.
It's my middle name, I should know better.
All right, okay.
So tell us about your writing.
Well, since I've been here last, I've been doing a lot of PR and marketing, and I was on Max and Benny's, Richard Reeder's Jewish author series that goes once a month, and thanks to you and to Richard Reeder, I got on there and did a program on my book, Lori, and then I had a lot of PR, a lot of newspaper articles in the Tribune and the Northwest Herald on my work on my books, and I have 4 books published right now. That's Murder on Skid Row, which is a murder mystery about Skid Row in Chicago in the 1960s. I have Lori, which is a family saga about a Jewish family that has a lot of source, but they deal very well with it. And it has a segment on the Holocaust, and there's a lot of traveling in the book from Chicago to Arizona to Florida to Germany. And this book, which I just put out last year, is called Murder Across the Ocean, and I just won an Apex Award on the book.
Oh, congratulations.
So I'm very pleased with that. And that's a murder that takes place in London, and a 70-year-old lady who's in my age group helps solve it. First she's considered a suspect, and then she helps solve it. So, and there's a young girl in it, her granddaughter, to put some spice into the younger people. So that's, and my 4th book, which is called Milk and Oranges, is about short stories and essays. And I'm currently working on a 5th book to put together about 40 of my short stories and essays.
Oh, wow.
And one kind of got inspired by my program with you.
Oh.
And I was thinking about what could I write about with TV programs. And I have a short story in the new book, and it's called Lights, Camera, Catharsis. And it's basically an interviewer is interviewing an author like we're doing now.
Yeah.
And he comes up with some very good questions. And he ends up having the author reveal a dark secret from her past. And I won't tell you what it is. When the book comes out, you can buy it and find out about that one.
Yeah, no, that sounds very, I like that. I like that. That's the making of good murder to mystery type books and all that. You know, twists like that. Good twist is really important.
Okay.
That's for sure. So, I mean, you're asked to speak a lot at different places, apparently?
I have been doing several programs besides Max and Benny's, a library program, and then I did a program. I live up near Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. So I did a program. They have a wonderful museum up there that has programs every Tuesday, and I did a program there. And then I was interviewed. I had an article in the Tribune with Printers Row. So I'm moving along, but unfortunately I'm not doing that much writing. I'm busy marketing, which is one of the problems with it.
No, that's true, but I mean, that's good. That means that, you know, there'll be more eager anticipation for your 5th book.
Right.
So that'll definitely be good. Are the stories, so 40 different stories in a book, I mean, how many pages is the book going to be?
I don't know. We're working on it now.
Excuse me, allergies, I'm sorry.
Okay. They're either short stories. Some of them are just 1-page essays or poems. A lot of them are about memories. Like I do a lot of, grew up in the 50s, and I have a couple stories about memories from the 50s or growing up as a teenager in Chicago. I grew up on the South Side.
Where were you at on the South Side?
South Shore, Hyde Park.
That's where I grew up.
Yeah.
South Shore, actually. My
Right.
parents were in Hyde Park before I was born.
Well, I had a few years in Hyde Park first.
Yeah.
So I do a couple stories about the 50s and about Hyde Park, you know, growing up there. And of course, I'm a pet person, though my cat died this year and we're
Sorry to hear.
petless for a little while. But I have a lot of stories in it about pets. And a lot of stories about just current. Like I said, I live in Lake Geneva area. So we travel the train a lot, and I love to people watch and do fiction stories on people that I see.
How long does it take to come to Chicago from the train?
The train is an hour and 40 minutes.
It's not terrible. I mean, I happen to like train travel a lot.
Well, I grew up by 71st Street, took the IC a lot to downtown.
We went to, I want to say 79th Street, because I lived at 77th and Essex.
Okay.
So we'd walk over to, or I'm not sure that was when it's 75th. I don't remember that, to be honest.
Right.
But that's when we had a couple extra pennies to go in luxury downtown instead of the CTA.
Right.
And it was only a couple pennies difference, really. I think one was 7 cents and one was 5 cents for kids at the time. I could be wrong. And plus, you had these really nice wicker seats that would flip over. So if you had a group of people, you could flip the seats over and talk to each other.
Right. That's what we do now. Eventually, I'm going to have, like, these two books are kind of a series, because this is Lori in her 20s, 30s, married. And then this is when she's 70-year-old and has a granddaughter.
Wow.
And I am working on a third book, but I'm kind of slow, but I will get to it.
Well,
it will be about the granddaughter, Kate. And if you're interested in any of these books, you can get them on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, some bookstores. Not too many in Chicago, probably more the suburbs.
Yeah, there aren't as many. I always used to drop off Jewish Chicago at all the bookstores, and there's a lot less bookstores to drop books off at now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I was dependent on newsstands, and I just had to get creative. So I go to places like Max and Benny's. I mean, they'll eat about 300 or 400 copies an issue. It's unbelievable.
Right. That's a wonderful series if anyone wants something to do on Monday, once a month on Mondays.
And it features Jewish authors. And
right.
Yeah, I know people that swear by the corned beef there.
All right. And most of my books, I mean, I'm Jewish, and all my books have Jewish themes, especially Murder on Skid Row has a lot about Maxwell Street in it, too.
I was never actually on Maxwell Street in my life.
You're kidding.
No, I mean, I grew up in South Chicago, and we had everything. I mean, South Chicago, South Shore.
Right. Whoops.
Excuse me. And I know my father told me that when he first came to this country, he brought $20 to Maxwell Street to buy a winter coat. So he's been there. I just wasn't. I'm not the.
Well, I don't know if you've read this one.
No, that one I didn't. I didn't read all of them.
Okay.
But no,
that one has some Maxwell Street in it, and it's all about, Maxwell Street in the area and about Skid Row in the 60s. But it's a lot of Chicago in it.
Well, I did read 2.5 of the 3, so I highly recommend them.
Okay, that's good. Thank you.
Okay, and I want to thank you very much, Charlene Wexler. And because I sneezed in here, I'll just shake your hand this way.
Okay.
And thank you for coming here, and thank you, Bill Bike, and thank you for bringing here Sam. And thank you for joining us, everybody, and thank you, Sonny. Bye-bye.